Right, I ran 100 breach scarabs to test out the new Chayula and snare scarab. I used Jungle Valley map just because it's easier to get to the end and double back all the way since it's very linear. You don't have to go searching for a lot of the loot. And I also used the breach craft for 6 chaos. Whereabouts says it there it is. And this was my atlas tree. The important thing about this atlas tree is just grabbing breach nodes and grabbing these 100% increased chance, especially these three. These two you don't really need to get. Cartography is good for consistent currency, and reliquary is good for the chance to get the seer scarab, which is essentially a div and a half. So it's basically doubling your chance to get a big ticket item. A lot of people will say that also increases the chance for worse scarabs, the unique item scarabs that are worth next to nothing. And the other day I vendored 12,000 scarabs and I found out you gain money from doing that, so it doesn't matter if it increases the worst scarabs. You can just vendor it and get better scarabs that will sell very easily. This was the loot that I got. Fragments, Chayula 134, about 1.3 per map. I got one flawless breach stone, which does seem right considering the odds. It's about 1 in 25 chance to get a fully formed breach stone from a boss, and then 1 in 20 on top of that to get it as flawless. I would say I dropped around 20 to 30 fully formed breach stone, and miscellaneous adds up to about 400 chaos. It's about 42 divines for the fragments alone, which makes up for a massive chunk of it. And you'll see here the other chunk comes from scarabs, but I'll get to that in a bit. Dev cards, the fortunate 32, essentially one in every three maps. That's the card that um, for 12 you get two divines, and it's dropping in troves this league. I will say maybe if the Chayula Breachstones drop in price, it'll be worth it to run this with maybe Abyss and to run it with Divination Scarabs to farm Fortunate and just to farm general Scarab drops. It might be very profitable. It might be something that I try in the future, especially with how dirt cheap Divination Scarabs are right now. The Chosen, only 3 of them, but 140 chaos each, good amount, 7.5 divine. For these div cards, I quoted any other div card, I obviously did get a lot more, but I didn't want to add any fluff to this total. Uniques, I got 4 red dreams, about a divine each, pretty good, and then I got 6 skin of the loyals, but I didn't hit huge on them. Depending on their socket color, you can get some worth multiple divines. I got one worth 8 divines earlier on in the league. The highest I got was 80 chaos, and I got freedom, which is still pretty good, around 6 divines per that. Currency, I got 4 divine drops. I did get 12 exalted drops, which, feels bad. Could have been the other way around. But it is what it is. I have a very strict filter, so this miscellaneous 1200 chaos is only currency that will sell. It's not, you know, random jewelers, random chromatics, all that. It's stuff that will sell for a decent amount and will sell quick. 12 divine from currency, I kind of expected a bit more, but I'm not too surprised. I guess it was just the RNG with exalted orbs dropping way more is what is. Favorited map, it could be anything. It can be Cemetery, it can be Jungle Valley, it can be Dunes, whatever. I value them at 5C each, some will value them at 6. I'm going the lower end for most of this because I don't want to pad up how much money I'm making. Um, so around 680 chaos from favorited maps. I didn't take many maps this day, notes on the Atlas trees, so I'm kind of surprised that I got this many. But I guess you are killing a lot of monsters. Abomination, 12 of them, 60 chaos each. Tier 17s are crazy right now, so they sell for a lot, which is a few divines in its own. 8 divines for that. And Scarabs, 50 divine from Scarabs, pretty much. I will say I did get 2 Scarabs that I'm excluding here, and I got some other drops that I'm including. I'll get into that in a bit. The reason I'm including them is because it is the most expensive Scarab in the game, um, worth 14 divines each, and I dropped 2 of them, which just seems like way, way of an outlier that I shouldn't include it in this total. I don't want to be like, hey, you can make 12 divs an hour, and then you'll be like, oh, well, in order to make that, I need this, and this, and I need to get lucky. I'm trying to figure out what the baseline amount of loot you can get. I don't want to be banking on jackpot items, just what you're guaranteed essentially. I did include Reliquary of Vision and Ambush of Containment, which is an expensive scarab, both of them. But because you're taking the 100% increased chance on the Atlas tree, you should expect to drop some of these if you run a large enough sample size. So that's why I'm keeping them in. In total, I got around 2,500 scarabs. 50 divines each. It's crazy. This is the investment here again. 200 Breach Garibs, 100 Breach Garib a Dreamer, 100 Breach Garib Snares, Breach Atlas Craft. I sustained the maps. I actually got more than 136, which is why I'm not including map cost here because I just took the maps as I went. Um, you know, adds up to 40 divines investment. You can see here excluded drops, an unnatural instinct, 7 divines, 2 divination garbs of curation, 14 divines each, a divine altar proc, obviously, that's incredibly lucky, 11 divines, and a harvest leaf memory, which maybe I should have included, but I didn't. I also included every corpse I got, every all flame I got, every breach ring I got. There was a lot that I got rid of just to find out what how much money you can make from things that will actually sell, from things that will be here in 4 months' time when the new league happens, not including temporary league mechanics, not including items that will sit in your stash for way too long and you'll have to spend days trying to sell it on TFT, which is why I excluded these and why I included these. Time to run maps, 6 minutes a map on average. Total divines earned basically 130, which means currency an hour basically 13. However, minus the investment, it's around 9 divines an hour, which is pretty good. Um, Not amazing, but I will say I do think the Dreamer and I do think the Snares, if you were to drop them and if you were to run, Breach Scarabs, if you were to combine it with a Bess, if you were to combine it with Divination Scarabs, I do think you could actually make more than this. If you were to add everything I included, the corpses, the all flames, the breach rings, this would be definitely 10, 11 divines an hour pure profit. It would be 13, 14, 15 divines an hour period. If you were to add these exceptionally lucky drops, it would be 17.8, 14. But I don't want to bank on that. Anyway, I'll leave this sheet in the description. I'll leave the atlas tree in the description. I'm not going to fully fill it out. You'll have some point left over. You can choose whether you want that in, Eater of Worlds Atlas nodes, or if you want it in increased item quantity, increased Garibs, if you want to target farm anything else, if you want to add a best to this. Um, it's entirely up to you. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Bye.